Over 72.77 million active telecommunications subscribers have been barred from making calls on their SIMs following a directive from the federal government to telecommunication companies. The federal government had ordered telecommunications companies to enforce compliance with its National Identification Number Subscriber Identity Module policy by restricting outgoing calls on all unlinked lines as the deadline for the verification expired Monday. All right, so let's look at the development and the cost or the impact of this on the sector. Mr. Wale, is a broadcast digital journalist and covers business and tech. He is the founder of a digital payment platform, My Data Stream. He joins us via the Zoom call now. Thank you, Wale, for joining us. We appreciate your time once again.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Yeah, and so let's look at the implications of these. Over 79 million subscribers will not be able to make calls from their phone henceforth as the deadlines for Nin-Sim linkage expired Monday. So what's your take on these and what are the implications here?
Yes, so I think it's been long coming. For so long, we've had this move, this deadline has continually been shifted several months down the line. And so I think it was practically inevitable along the line that this would happen. It was bound to happen at some point. But even though there are concerns that the process and the timing that the government has decided to put its feet down is not really too good. Some people opine that this should have been a gradual thing. It should be a continuous exercise as against mandating lines to be switched off almost instantly. So, but I think we've had a very good time. This exercise started December 2020, so that is about 12, 13 months down the line that we've had this.
That's about 14 months.
So for those who have not, yes. So I think we pretty had some good time to carry out this exercise. Although the truth also is that there have been hindrances along the way. We recall that some few weeks back, the NIMC website came down and it could not connect. Telcos could not link up, and so they could not activate these lines for the lines that were for several weeks thereabout. So that on one side, as well as possibly lack of communication, hindrances, crowding, which many people have complained about, locations to carry out their NIN, their SIM linkage registration, and all of that. So I think these hindrances are some of the things the government should have looked at and not so much as place its feet firmly on the ground. Just make it a continuous exercise. I think that's what should have been done. But hey, this has been done, and I think, well, we just move on and see how this can best, be dealt with as we go on.
But let me ask you, some of these challenges, like you mentioned in your analysis, that the website of NIMC was taken down or experienced a glitch some weeks ago, and again that also delays some SIM linkage as it were. I mean, these are some of the issues that we know, of course, will come up. Do you think we could have something that could be avoided?
Yes, most certainly. I think it could have been avoided. I think the federal government, the agency itself, should have done much more, to ensure that this is a seamless exercise, because it behoves on you if you're demanding such of citizens. it should be, you should be at your best call also as an agency of the government. And I think particularly making for the agency, if you ask me. Although yes, we can also say that it's not impossible not to have issues like this. I mean, this is tech. This is, things happen. You have servers can come down. There could be a bug that needs to be dealt with, and all of that, and which was possibly what happened with the NIMC website. In fact, we have it. You also recall that there was an instance, there was news flying around that some third parties had allegedly hacked into the NIMC database, and these were some of the things that possibly some people are speculating that was even, in fact, responsible for the takedown or for the breakdown of the NIMC website. So these are the things that the federal government also, the agency also needs to have looked into and ensure that, you know, all their staffs, all their personnel are up and doing, so that you don't have this kind of glitch. You know, this was not something that happened just in just one day. This went on for 1 or 2 weeks thereabout. So, and telcos were complaining that, you know, they could not access, they could not connect to the back end. So these are the issues, you know, on ground also that needs to be addressed. Now you have that kind of issue, and then just a few weeks down the line, you issue the directive that all telco companies and all their agencies should shut down, take off,
ensure compliance, right?
access to make outgoing calls for non-linked SIM cards. This, I think, was not too fair. I think it should have been treated better, you know, given that, you know, even the agency itself, you've had your own issues, you know.
And now, I mean, well, if you look at it again, the last phase of the extension was like 3 months. I mean, earlier in the year when the government came up and said, okay, you know what, we're giving 3 months. And that 3 months, of course, expired or elapsed on Monday, 4th of April. And that's when the compliance, enforcement of compliance came into play as well. So what are the lessons you think we can learn from these? And what are the issues, key issues really?
Sorry, I've lost you.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Hello, Wale? Hello, Wale, can you hear me? Hello, Wale?
Yes, okay, I can hear you now.
Okay,
I lost you for some second.
Okay, it's all right. I was asking you, what are the lessons you think we can take home here, or the lesson we should have learned from this particular development? Because as it is now, 79 million can make calls out of their, out of their phone on their SIM. But and how do you think we can correct those things? And what are the things that we should have done better? I think we need to look at that before we move on to looking at other issues here.
Okay, so I think there are several things we need to take a look at here. First and foremost, from the agency point of view, from the agency angle, I think more needs to be done. The Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, to the National Communications Commission, down to the National NIMC. I think so much more needs to be done. You know, if you're doing such an exercise of such magnitude, it behoves on you to also provide adequate resources, provide adequate infrastructure that would ensure a seamless exercise. If you've asked Nigerians to come out and have their SIM linked, which in fact, issues are also arising from it, that why do we need, you know, the NIN? Some people have argued.
Hello, Wale. I think I'm losing connection with your audio there. If you can hear me. Hello, Wale, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Yes, I think you need to finish on your thought there that, I mean, what some people were thinking and how they should have been done. Please continue.
Okay, so many people have also argued that I have all of these other registrations. Why do I need this? But hey, that is
Well, I think we're having
leading to
okay.
stand up is not too good enough, and
Okay.
so you realize that you don't really have the stand of the point, your point to argue that you've done all that needs to be done, and so this should actually be done. So these are the things I think the lessons to take home. The federal government and all of its agencies need to put their acts together such that this exercise, is seamless, is hassle-free, is painless for Nigerians. Because at this point right now, several businesses are being thrown out there. Um, Businesses are going to be out of communication. Many people will be losing businesses as it is. So this is something that is important to Nigerians.
I think, Wale, let me quickly come in here. We also need to, because there are feedbacks from the street, I mean, from these centers, those who went there to register, couldn't register, and some who registered said they had to bribe their way through. Is this an issue that we also need to address, and the government needs to pay attention to as regards this NIM?
Okay, definitely. Interestingly, I did a story on this some months back, and this was exactly I did an investigation on this, and this was exactly the outcome. Many people have not been able to register. Personally, as at the day I wanted to, I did an investigation around Ikeja, and then I went to Oyo State, Ibadan, just to try and see how seamless this exercise was. But because of the sheer number of people who needed to do, because of the few registration centers, yes, you had the telcos doing it on one hand, you also had the NIMC offices doing this on another hand, but you realize that it wasn't just enough. And so people were cashing in, officials were cashing in, and for those who really needed to get it done, you had to bribe your way. I personally had to, pay off, just to see how just to see it through. You have to pay your way.
Okay, you know what, Wale, I need you to hold your thought there. We just have to take a break now. When we come back, this conversation we continued. Interesting, interesting analysis and revelation you're making there. But we need to really look at that issue and how the government can address the issue of bribe or having to pay for what is supposed to be free in the first place. I think it's very key. We need to look at that issue. You're still watching Business Breakfast. Let's take a moment. We'll be back. Please stay with us. If you just join us, this is Business Breakfast coming to you live from our studios here in Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital, looking at the SIM link or Nin-Sim linkage and the impact or the losses as the federal government has issued a directive to enforce compliance with the barring of over 79 million subscribers. Well, I think that's what we're looking at now. Mr. Wale, is the founder of My Data Stream, digital payment platform, joining us to discuss this via the Zoom call. Thank you, Wale, for your time. You were talking about the investigative reporting that you did way back, which was the fact that a lot of people had to pay for what was supposed to be free. And because even at that time, some of the officials were also denying that. Again, the question is, could there be some unrecognized agent at the gate, or could they be, can you confirm this in your report? Maybe let's quickly touch on that.
Okay, so basically, I think it was about this time last year that I embarked on that, and basically what I realized was that what happens is in a scenario where you things are not organized, there's bound to be an abuse of process. There's bound to be people cashing in on the seeming inconsistency in everything just to make some fast money. People know that where anywhere there's no organization, things can happen. So what you have was a situation where the gatesmen, those who were in charge of keeping law and order, the officials, the entry officials that you had to see, those who were organizing the queues, you had them, they were the ones that had the power, so to say, and they were the ones, cashing
Hello, Wale.
it was an artificial one. Anyway, it was an artificial one. Particularly, there was a I would not mention on the wraps. I was there, and what I was for more than 2 hours, we were just seated. Yet we had people who were going into the office. It was an MTN office. We had people going in. So, and then the question was, what's happening? Why are we just seated on the queue 1.5 hours into our time? We had things to do. There are people who had left their businesses, just to come and conduct this exercise, sitting down. We had people going in. So what happened was I had to look around and I realized that the officials inside were colluding with the security officials. And so those ones would speak to you at the gate, give you a certain number and ask you to go in. So once you mention that number to the official at the entrance, he understands what you're telling him and he allows you in. Meanwhile, those who are not paying because you simply just wanted to go through the process were just sitting down there. So that was what you had. You had an artificial situation where the officials were cashing in and they were taking 5,000 naira, they were taking 2,000 naira, depending on how they profiled you. And that was what was happening. And this went on in several centers. So when you have such a situation like that, many people decided to just bump the exercise and go back home.
Interesting. I mean,
that was it for some of them.
Yes. I mean, this report, the report you did also confirms some feedbacks we got around town and across this the federation at that time, where some people couldn't register and some people who did said they actually had to pay a token before they could do it. I think it's something that the government, and it's not something we can exhaust today in our conversation, and I think it's something the government will have to look at critically in the coming days.
Sorry,
if we must have a perfect
again.
system. But let's look at this situation, this development at the moment. If you look at what the NCC had in its record, Nigeria at the moment has about 197.7 million active telecom subscribers as of February this year. And so 125 million subscribers have submitted their names for verification, leaving about over 72. But in this recent enforcement with the compliance, we have over 79 million subscribers who are already banned out of the system. Yes, they will receive call, but they can't make calls out. What's the implication of that for businesses, even for the operators itself, and for the economy in general? And what are the losses here, and how can we move forward?
I didn't get your last line. Sorry.
I was saying that, yes, over 79 million active subscribers currently barred from making calls. What are the implications here? The losses, and how do we recover from these, and how do we address these going forward? Yes, the government is saying that it's still on. You can still go ahead and link your SIM. That's okay, but you cannot make calls. That means that people will not be able to even recharge their phones. And that means loss of money for the telecom sector as well, or the operators as well.
Yes, certainly. I think I dare say even the telcos themselves most probably are not so happy with this, because No businessman wants to see money flying off, money that should have come to him, going off. So that is one on the telco side. That is an implication, massive loss of revenue for telecom subscribers. It also means that their businesses are going to be on hold. Take Imagine if a line is a business is used for customer care. It means that all such a business cannot, or such an owner of that line cannot make calls any longer. And it means that all of his business processes, his contacts are stalled. And in the age where we have so much of fraud going in. Many people do not want to pick up unknown numbers. And so in situations where this is the major line that is associated with such an individual, if I try to call you with another line, I can almost guess that you probably will not pick my call simply because it's an unknown number. And so I'm left hanging. So those are the implications, and it cuts across. So I think there needs to be an holistic approach to this issue. The federal government, if you said that this is an ongoing exercise, that just translates to tell us that this kind of mandate shouldn't have been carried out in the first place. All you need to do is to ensure that people continue doing sensitization. Send SMS. You have these data. The telcos have these data. Send SMSs to these individuals. You have networks calling subscribers up, for promotions and all. Why can't you place a call to these numbers that have not been registered? You've not done. We have it on record that your line has not been registered. Please kindly do so before. So for many people, it's a case of the fact that they are not even aware. Probably they heard it once or twice, but they are not even aware that they are not linked. So why not go all out for sensitization? We should be pro and not anti-progress. So, and when you're pro, it will show in your directives. So why can't you go all out for sensitization? Use the TV, the media, place calls to these particular numbers that have not been linked. Send SMSs to them. Continually send SMSs to them. We have push messages that telcos do. When you try to make a call, when your call connects, there's a push message. Why not enable that for all telcos? Why not direct all telcos that exercise?
Yeah, I think we probably will have to stop there because we just lost a connection with Mr. Wale. I think that's a very good point. Okay. I think let's wrap up then, Wale.
So so I was just concluding that. So it's for us to ensure that we exhaust all avenues to ensure that people are aware, because there are still many people. You'll be shocked to know that there are still many people who are not even aware that they are yet to be unlinked. There are some people who have tried to embark on the exercise and were unable to. There are some people also. Now there is another category of individuals who have actually done their registration, but because of the handshake that is yet the loss of connection between telcos, the telco system and the NIMC database, and the connectivity has not been carried out. You realize that some people have actually done their registration, but their lines are yet to be linked up because of that particular issue which we just mentioned. So that is another issue. Is that the case? How many of these people have actually done their registration but are yet to be linked up via the connection at the back end from the telcos to the NIMC database? That is another big question we need to ask ourselves. And these are the issues that the federal government needs to answer. And as such, make this a continuous exercise as against placing a ban on outgoing calls for all individuals who are yet to link their lines.
We hope, the government will listen to some of this point, not only from you now, but from all the stakeholders and experts or analysts in the sector who have also lent their voice to this particular development now. But on this note, I want to thank you so much, Wale, for your time. Wale Amin, founder, My Data Stream. Thank you for your time on the program. We'll appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. You're also watching Business Breakfast, coming to you live from our studios. Still to come after the break. The Nigeria Senate introduces a bill seeking to establish the National Industrial Technology Park Act. The bill